The little girl saw it immediately. Surrounding the princess were 5 auras of babies, leading her to conclude that the eldest princess was expecting quintuplets. However, the princess did not believe her words at all, as her belly was completely flat, and she was deeply worried about not being able to conceive. The girl then explained that the energy of the 5 babies could not enter the princess's womb because something impure was buried in her backyard. Following the girl's advice, the princess led her servants to dig in the garden, and sure enough, they found a cursed doll used for witchcraft. They burned it immediately, and as soon as it was destroyed, the princess's belly began to grow rapidly. At that moment, she realized that the little girl she had taken in exchange for a basket of sweet potatoes possessed an incredible power. However, what she did not know was that the girl was an immortal fox spirit who had been training for centuries and had descended into the human world to undergo a test. As soon as she touched the earth, barren mountains came to life. The elders believed she was a lucky star sent to bless the people and decided to adopt her as their daughter. But the elders' son and daughter-in-law, wanting to save food, kept the girl tied up like a dog and refused to feed her. A kind-hearted woman saw what was happening and realized that the couple intended to devour the child. Horrified, she rushed to stop them. When she noticed that the woman was carrying a basket of sweet potatoes, the cruel daughter-in-law demanded the food in exchange for the girl, threatening to eat her otherwise. Thinking about how adorable the little girl was and how she was about to be killed, the woman did not hesitate. She handed over the sweet potatoes and took the girl home, adopting her as her own daughter. However, the woman's mother-in-law and brother-in-law were furious when they saw that she had traded the family's food for a mere child. Since their family was already on the verge of starvation, they decided to punish her. During dinner, they refused to let the woman eat, hoping to starve her to death. Yet at that moment, the little girl wished for buns to eat. In those times of famine, not even a mayor could afford to eat buns, let alone a little girl. But in the next second, buns rained down from the sky, falling into their courtyard. Now, the family had enough supplies to last for a month, and no longer had to worry about hunger. The woman realized that the girl was no ordinary child. To confirm her suspicion, she asked if there was anything else she wanted to eat. The girl said she wanted meat. Just then, several wild rabbits ran straight into their home. The brother-in-law and mother-in-law were overjoyed, as their grandson had not eaten meat in a long time. But only the woman knew that the little girl was a lucky star who could make wishes come true. When the brother-in-law and mother-in-law saw that the woman's family was eating meat, they realized that there must be much more in the house and felt cheated. Taking advantage of the darkness, they snuck into the woman's home and stole the buns and rabbit meat. During the argument that followed, the elderly grandmother, weakened by hunger, collapsed. But instead of showing concern for her condition, the brother-in-law and mother-in-law only mourned the loss of the stolen food. To prevent the grandmother from dying of grief, the woman and her family took her to the city to seek a doctor. Along the way, they encountered the princess, who was distributing soup on the streets. She had been married for 5 years without conceiving a child, and in hopes of getting pregnant, she performed good deeds every day. However, when the little girl saw the princess, she immediately noticed that 5 children were lingering around her. The reason they had not entered her womb was due to the impurity buried in her garden. Although many people advised the princess not to trust a mere child, she was desperate to conceive. Taking a chance, she invited the woman and the little girl to her palace, promising them a great reward if they could find the impure object. Upon hearing that his wife had brought a woman and a child to search for something, the prince decided to join them. He declared that if they found an impure object, he would reward them with gold. But if they failed, he would accuse them of deceiving the royal family and have them executed. For hours, they dug through the garden, but all they found was a stone. Enraged, the prince immediately ordered that the woman and the little girl be taken to prison for execution.